Hi, it's Charles Kelly, Money Tips. I want to talk to you today about something that's barely been reported in the British TV media. It has been reported in one of the medias that's shown here, that's Al Jazeera, but I haven't seen it on most of the mainstream channels today. And that's a summit that's going on, organized by Putin, and it's the BRICS summit. It's BRICS, and I'll show you what that stands for. I just want to show you this illustration because I want to talk about why I think it's important to all of us, even though you might say, well, so what? Something that's Putin's organized, how does that affect me? So hold tight, and I'm going to just share a screen with you now. Okay, who is going to Putin's hosted BRICS summit in Russia, and why has Brazil's Lula dropped out? This is the Independent, one of the newspapers that has covered it. I'm not saying no, there's no media coverage of this at all, but it's very low key. And it says here, Vladimir Putin is hosting China's Xi Jinping, India's Modi, Turkey, you've got Iran there, amongst other world leaders at this meeting. It says here Brazil's Lula has dropped out, the president there. Apparently he's had a head injury of some sort, but he is one of the early founders of the BRICS, which stands for a group of countries that have clubbed together. And I've talked about this before: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. But apparently there are 33 more countries that could join this alliance. And it's those countries that are kind of not in the G7, that are perhaps feeling a little bit excluded by the US. And this organization, it's a gathering. It's their 16th summit now. This has been going for a long time. And it's a gathering, and they plan to launch their own digital currency backed by gold. Okay, so it's very interesting. Now, this is to rival the US dollar. And if this does take off, it will certainly end the dominance of the dollar as the trading currency. In fact, a lot of these countries are trading outside the dollar already. You know, Iran and Russia are selling goods to China outside of the dollar. And so it's already happening. I mean, with the war going on, the media was expecting that Russia would fall to its knees with all of the sanctions, but it hasn't happened, has it? Because Russia has got the resources. And even though there's sanctions and banking sanctions, the SWIFT system, which is controlled by America, and all these countries that can't do business with them, there are countries there that have decided, no, we're going to do business with them. And if it's not in the dollar, we'll find another way of paying for the goods. And that includes India, for instance. And we know China is closely aligned with Russia. So they've been able to survive amongst themselves. Whereas previously you'd have to buy oil in dollars and then trade it in dollars. And some of the Middle Eastern countries are also planning to join, the UAE, for instance, because they can then sell oil outside of the dollar. So, we've got all these leaders, and they represent a very significant, large proportion of the world's population. Let me say some other stories here. That's Modi arriving there, getting a bit of a hug from Putin. So you can see what's going on. These countries have decided that they're going to put their interests first, and not Ukraine. They're saying, well, we're going to trade. Now, Germany, on the other hand, has lost its cheap energy, and now its economy is in trouble. Even companies like VW are planning to pull out. And if you want to find out more about this, you can go to their BRICS portal, brics.org, and you can see here when it started, what's going on, which countries are planning to join. Bit here about Malaysia strengthens new diplomatic ties with Russia. So the focus is moving away from America, because whatever you think about America, they are controlling the world's movement of goods and banking through the SWIFT system. And a lot of countries are fed up, particularly with all of the sanctions imposed on countries. And a lot of countries are thinking, well, what if they did that to us? I mean, Saudi saying, well, what if America imposed sanctions on us? So they're looking for an alternative, maybe a get out clause, or an escape route, if you like, from American domination. So why is this significant? Well, I think, could it affect the value of the dollar if this goes through? Now, a lot of commentators are saying, well, no, they don't think this will significantly weaken the dollar in the short term unless it expands and really becomes a proper currency. Could it affect the price of gold, because it's going to be a gold-backed currency, and a lot of central banks are buying up gold at the moment. And yeah, gold has reached an all-time high. It's over $2,000 now. But you've got commentators like Jim Rickards who are saying, oh, gold will go to $15,000 and that sort of thing. Yeah, there's loads of gold buffs predicting that gold will go up. But then when you look at their interests, you say, well, hold on, either a lot of them are either selling gold through their gold bullion dealing companies, or in the case of Jim Rickards, he's selling a newsletter, a gold newsletter. He's selling a service that relates to investing in gold and gold companies and bullion companies and mining companies and that sort of thing. So they've all kind of got an interest in this, and therefore I don't think they're entirely impartial. Having said that, I think it's worth having a proportion, maybe 10%. I think Jim Rickards, to be fair to him, does say don't put any more than 10% of your assets into gold. So he's not saying bet the house on it, but it's useful to have some of your money in gold, and this can be in gold coins and gold bars. I mean, gold coins in most countries is actually currency, and it was currency long before we had fiat currencies like pounds and dollars and euros. So it's considered a store of value. There are ways of getting interest on gold, but it's in effect, gold is sitting there. You're holding these gold coins or these gold bars. Usually you have to pay for storage, or you would have to possibly put it in a bank vault, or just take a chance and have it at home under the floorboards or whatever. But there's certain costs to it. But since I've been buying gold and silver, it has gone up a lot. I mean, it's gone up 30% in a year, and it's gone up a lot since I was buying it a few years ago. But as I said, I wouldn't remortgage the house or take leverage out to buy gold. But there is a chance that it will rise in the future over time. So we will have to see. So put a proportion of your savings or your investments into gold, but not everything. So there you go. Let's see what happens with the BRICS and this possible currency, possible breaking of the dominance of the dollar as the world reserve currency. But we will have to see what actually happens. I'm a bit surprised that the media hasn't really been talking very much about it. So that's all I just wanted to share with you today. I wanted to put this out to you because as I said, I don't think you're hearing much about it from anywhere else. So thanks very much, and I'll see you again.